Welcome to another video on game development with Asha Akanksha Foundation. In this video, we learn how to implement collectibles. We learn the concept of triggers and destroy. We'll also learn how we can access the script variables of other objects. So in this video, we'll see how we can collect a coin using the ball, and we'll maintain some points for the ball for that. So if the ball collides with the coin, we want the ball to earn some points and we want the coin to disappear. So these are the functionalities that we expect from a coin. So for that, we first need to go to the coin collectible. We have named it as a collectible, and we will first create a script for a collectible. So now we'll see how we can control the collectible. Firstly, we can't use the start and update functions here. The functionality that we want to use is to detect any collisions that happen with the ball. So for that, we can't use the start and update function. We have to first add a collision detector. So we'll first add a collider. We have a circle collider available. We instead of using any other box collider or anything, we've already discussed that circle collider would suit the shape of the object, and that would be the best for us. We can see the radius of the circle here. So this is too huge for our coin. We'll tweak it a little. Let's make it 0.4. So it's a little too huge right now, so I think it's fine. Okay, so zooming out again. So we can now, what we want to do is, let's see how this works first. So we already know when we added a collider to the ground, the ball couldn't pass through the ground. So let's see if a similar functionality is happening with the coin. Right, so now we can see that it cannot actually pass the uh, coin now. So if it So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that the coin would not react when the ball collides. The collider should not react, but only. So okay, so another mistake that we did, we added something when the game was on. That could change was not saved. So let's just add the collider again. Now let's start the game. So the ball is behaving naturally, and now we'll stop. So what we want to do now is we want the ball to pass through the coin. The coin should not stop the ball from passing, but only notice the trigger. So for that, we'll enable the is trigger option. That would ensure that the ball does not get affected. So we can easily pass through the coin, but now we can also notice this trigger. So let's see how we can do that. So when an object enters the collider, an is trigger function is called. So it's called on trigger collision on trigger enter to be. So whenever a trigger happens, whenever it enters the object, this function would be called, and this takes in a collider. This collider is of the other object, so it tells you about which object collided, and it also, so this is the collider component. So every object has a component, we already know. So this is the collider of the player. So this component of the player would be given to us. Now going back to the script, let's try to see if the collision is detected. restart the game. So we'll have to go to the console. Okay, so we didn't apply the script to the collectible. So let's go to the collectible and add the script called collectible controller. So now the object has been created and now the changes will be tracked. So here when we collide, the function collide, the print statement is happening. Let's go back and see what we want to do when the print happens, when the collision happens. Firstly, we want to notify the player about it. We want to increment the player's score. So let's first add a function collected. So we have a void function called, let's make this public because we want the coin to be able to access it. And let's have some points variable associated with that collected coin. So we'll maintain a local score for the object. We initialize it to 0 here and update the score. And now what we want to do from here is we have the collider object and we already know that every component has its game object stored with it. So collider.game object would give us the parent object, the game object as in the whole player to us. And once we have the whole player, we can refer to its function called. So when we have the, we can first get its controller. So for that, what we need to do is we can call the get component function, and we pass the class name as player controller. So here you can see that the player controller's class name is this. So we'll use that, and we want to get this object. We'll store the controller with us. So this is of type player controller. Now what we want to call the function controller dot, we want to call the function collected. So collected, and let's maintain a points variable for every collectible in the class. So we have and again we'll maintain a constant as we discussed in the other video. Say this is for 10 points, the coin is for 10 points. We just pass the points. Okay, now let's make the score public so that we can view it outside on the, so any public variable is visible in the inspector. So here in the player, you can go down to the script player controller, expand it, here you have score. So any public variable can be shown here. Let's start. Now on collision, let's see if the score increased by 2. So basically 2 collisions were detected. Now we have a third collision. So this is not what we want. We want the coin to disappear also after colliding. So for that, we have to destroy the whole object, the whole uh, collectible object. So for that, we use the destroy function. We go to collectible and we want to call destroy, and we pass in the name of the object. So here if we pass in this, it would destroy the component script, which is the which is the collectible controller, but we want to destroy the game object itself. So for that we need to use the game object variable. Basically this dot game object, this is the script, and this script the game object associated with this object. We can easily access it without using this as well. Let's see if this works. So now on collision, the coin gets collected perfectly. So I hope this tutorial helped you in learning how you can use collisions with and without triggers, and to access the different sections, where the game object is located, where a component script is located, and how you can access the different components from one place to another using public, and how to access the controller of some other object and everything. Let's review the learning outcomes that we had set for this video. We successfully implemented a collectible and learned the concepts of triggers and destroy. Our collectible vanished when the player collided with it and the player's points increased.